You know, for me, when I make a new film, I'm thinking of it as a clean slate, a fresh start, new characters, new story. To me, it's a completely different thing. But every time I release a trailer for the next one, the first thing I hear is you could tell it was me in the first 10 seconds. And I've had to accept that that is simply true.
Is it good or bad?
You know, it's not exactly, well, I think it's more like handwriting or something. It's you know, my identity. I can't change my handwriting. It's just the way it comes out when I move my hand across, when I move my pencil across the paper. And I don't, you know, even though I'm trying to make decisions to do something different every time and surprise myself and anyone else, I sort of accept that I have a certain kind of voice that happens to be quickly identifiable.
Yeah, you also have often quite a lot of the same characters, right? I mean, you go back to people like Tom Hanks and others. I'm just saying Tom Hanks because I just kind of recognize him, but there are many others. Why do you do that? I'm really fascinated by that.
Well, I always liked, from when I first started making films, which is a very long time ago, I liked the idea of having a sort of stock company, like a theater troupe. I always thought of Bergman, you know, who had this group of actors, or someone like well, you know, like Powell and Pressburger in England. There are actors who appear and reappear. I always like that, and I love the start of a movie being a kind of reunion. The other thing is, over the years, I've gotten to know and work with a good number of my very favorite actors. So there's something to be said for, I already know so many of my favorites. I go back to them and see if I can lure them in again.
So I said Tom Hanks, but in the Phoenician scheme, you also have Scarlett Johansson, Jeffrey Wright, etc. You've worked with all of them before. Let's just talk quickly about the plot. So it is a father-daughter story. It's quite complicated, filled with all sorts of unpredictable twists and turns. But at the heart of it, it is, as I say, a father and a daughter building a relationship. And this larger-than-life father has all sons except for this one daughter. And at one point, he says, "You're going to be my heir." So I'm going to play this clip, and then we'll talk about it. The father is Zaza Corda, played, as we know, by Benicio del Toro. And we'll talk about the daughter, Mia, in a second. Let's play this clip.
I've appointed you sole heir to my estate, which you may come into sooner rather than later, and provisionally manager of my affairs after the event of my actual demise on a trial basis.
Why?
Why what?
Why sooner rather than later, since you survived again? And why am I sole heir to your estate? You have 8 sons at last count.
9 sons.
9 sons, what about them?
They're not my heirs.
Why not?
I have my reasons.
Which are what?
My reasons? I'm not saying. I'm saying I'm not saying.
It's so Wes Anderson. Of course, I was wrong. I said Mia, but she's Liesel in the film. But she's Mia Thruppleton in real life. And her mother just happens to be Kate Winslet. How did you know that she was such a good actress? Had she had, you know, a body of work?
I saw her audition a little quick time on my laptop among 1,000 other auditions for this role. And she was, it was, you know, we'd given them, each actress auditioning, we'd given them a scene we'd prepared, a sort of scene that's something like what's in the movie, to play the character. And she made, it seemed like a documentary. It seemed like just documentary footage, totally authentic. And I didn't know her any family connection. I didn't know anything about her at all. I just saw this little clip. But I basically watched it and thought, I think we may be able to shut down our search right now. I think we might have her. And when I introduced her to Benicio del Toro, the two of them together had something just chemical instantly that I thought, well, let's film that.
So am I right? Is it a father-daughter story? What is your vision about this film?
Well, you know, I think There's something like when you're putting together a work of journalism, you're gathering all your facts and information and impressions and observations and ordering them into something that's a story. And I think the same thing happens when you write a fictional movie, except there's no fact checker and you use your imagination and you don't really know where it's all coming from. I don't know exactly my intentions for the story. It sort of reveals itself as it goes along. That's how it happens for me anyway. And this movie I thought was a movie about a businessman and his grand venture that he's undertaking and this sort of brutality of this very rich man, Benicio. But somehow the story led us in another direction, and there was a layer to this character that I sort of hadn't anticipated, and it became, I think, the center of the movie is entirely what you described. It's a father-daughter story, and his business plan that is wildly complex is almost a ritual for him to get back together with her.